Stop right there. Before you scroll away, let me ask you something that will change how you see the world forever. Do you think being good keeps you safe? Do you believe that kindness protects you? That generosity builds loyalty? That honesty earns respect? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you're about to discover the most dangerous lie society has ever told you. The biggest mistake people make is believing that being good means being safe. But here's the brutal truth. Goodness is like fire. It burns through everything you've built, your relationships, your career, your dreams, everything. Niccolò Machiavelli figured this out. He watched good leaders fall. He saw kind rulers destroyed. He witnessed generous people betrayed by the very ones they helped. And he wrote it all down. Today, I'm going to share his hidden truth with you, the shocking cost of goodness that nobody talks about. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn why your goodness is actually making you weak, why people don't respect your kindness but exploit it, and most importantly, how to transform goodness from your greatest weakness into your most powerful weapon. But first, let me be clear about something. I'm not telling you to become evil. I'm not asking you to hurt people. What I'm showing you is how to be good strategically, not blindly. Because the reality is, in a world full of wolves, being a sheep gets you eaten alive. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose strategic goodness. From today, everything changes. You will no longer use goodness blindly. You will use it strategically. In this video, we'll uncover why goodness doesn't always protect you. In fact, it often destroys you. And we'll see exactly how to transform it into a source of real power. Let's start with the first shocking truth. Think about the kindest person you know. Now, think about this. Are they truly respected, or are they the person everyone calls when they need something? The truth is, being good makes you vulnerable, not secure. When you're consistently kind, people start seeing you as predictable. They know you won't fight back. They know you won't say no. They know they can push you around because you're too nice to do anything about it. You become the office doormat, the friend who always pays for dinner, the family member who always says yes to helping, even when it hurts you. Let me tell you about someone. He was the best team manager I ever met. He always helped his team, always covered for them, always put their needs first. Guess what happened? They promoted someone else over him. Why? Because nice people don't look like leaders, they look like servants. People don't respect your goodness. They exploit it. Think about it. When someone is always available to help, their help becomes worthless. When someone never sets boundaries, people will keep crossing them. When someone never shows teeth, people assume they don't have any. Your goodness becomes your weakness because it signals to the world that you can be taken advantage of. Machiavelli once said, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves." One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. You've been trying to survive as a sheep in a world full of wolves, and that's exactly why you keep getting hurt. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I protect my energy. Here's something that will blow your mind. The more you give to people, the less they appreciate it. I know that sounds backwards, but hear me out. Generosity creates short-term applause. People clap for you. They say nice things. They tell everyone how wonderful you are. It feels amazing, right? But over time, something twisted happens. Your generosity breeds dependency, entitlement, and eventually resentment. Let me explain why. When you help someone once, they're grateful. When you help them twice, they're thankful. But when you help them 10 times, they start expecting it. Your exceptional kindness becomes their normal. If you ever stop helping, they don't remember the 9 times you said yes. They remember the 1 time you said no. Suddenly, you're the selfish one. You're the bad guy. Think about parents who always give their kids everything they want. The first few times, the children are excited and thankful, but soon those gifts become expected. The new phone isn't special anymore. It's just what mom and dad do. And if the parents ever say no to buying something, the kids get angry and call them unfair. The same thing happens in friendships. You always pick up the check at dinner. You always drive everyone around. You always help people move. At first, they appreciate it. But eventually, they stop saying thank you. They just assume you'll handle it. And if you ever need them to return the favor, they're suddenly too busy. This is the generosity trap. You give and give until giving becomes your identity. And the moment you need to receive or even just stop giving, you become the villain in everyone else's story. Your constant generosity doesn't build loyalty. It builds addiction. People become addicted to your giving. And like any addict, they get angry when their supply is cut off. The psychological truth behind this: humans have something called hedonic adaptation. We get used to good things quickly. What once felt special becomes normal. What once felt generous becomes expected. So your repeated acts of kindness actually lose their power over time. They become invisible. People stop noticing them because they're so common. But your single act of saying no, that stands out like a red flag. That's what they remember. That's what they focus on. That's what they complain about. This happens everywhere. At work, if you always stay late, staying late becomes your normal. Nobody celebrates it anymore. But leave on time once, and suddenly you're not committed. In relationships, if you always compromise, compromise becomes expected. But stand your ground once, and you're being difficult. Machiavelli once said, benefits ought to be conferred gradually, and in that way they will taste better. The man understood something most people never learn. Scarcity creates value. Abundance destroys it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I give strategically. Here's a truth that might make you uncomfortable. Society believes in appearances, not reality. People don't care if you're actually good. They care if you look good. They don't judge your heart, they judge your image. This means that to maintain power and respect, you must wear the mask of goodness while keeping control beneath the surface. Look at the most successful people you know. Do you think they got there by being genuinely nice to everyone? No. They got there by being smart about when, how, and to whom they show their goodness. They smile in public and make hard decisions in private. They show mercy when it serves them and show strength when it's needed. They understand that the appearance of virtue is more powerful than virtue itself. This isn't about being fake. This is about being strategic. Think about it like this. A doctor might need to cut you open to save your life. Is the doctor being cruel? No. The doctor is doing what needs to be done even if it causes temporary pain. Real leaders understand that sometimes being truly good means looking temporarily bad. Sometimes helping someone means saying no to them. Sometimes protecting your team means making unpopular decisions. The mask of virtue isn't about deception. It's about timing. It's about knowing when to show your soft side and when to show your steel. Most people get this backwards. They show their weakness to enemies and their strength to friends. Smart people do the opposite. Machiavelli once said, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. He understood that perception shapes reality. If people perceive you as weak, you become weak. If they perceive you as strong, you become strong. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I control my image. Every single thing you do has a cost. Every favor you grant. Every time you say yes when you want to say no. Every moment you spend helping others instead of building yourself. Most good people never think about this. They give and give until they have nothing left. Then they wonder why they feel exhausted, resentful, and taken advantage of. Here's what you need to understand. Your time, energy, and resources are finite. When you spend them on others, you have less for yourself. This isn't selfish to acknowledge. It's mathematical. Unlimited kindness drains your strength. And when you're drained, you can't help anyone, including yourself. Think about airplane safety instructions. They tell you to put your oxygen mask on first, then help others. Why? Because if you pass out trying to help someone else first, now 2 people need rescuing instead of 1. Life works the same way. If you exhaust yourself helping others, you become someone who needs help. Now you're a burden instead of an asset. Smart people understand that to survive and thrive, resources and energy must be guarded carefully. This doesn't make you mean. It makes you sustainable. I learned this lesson the hard way. For years, I said yes to everyone, every request, every favor, every quick question that turned into hours of work. I thought I was being good. But you know what happened? I started resenting people. I felt angry and bitter. My own projects suffered. My own dreams got delayed. And ironically, I became less able to help the people who truly needed it. That's when I realized something crucial. Saying yes to everyone means saying no to yourself. And when you abandon yourself, you eventually abandon everyone else too. The most generous people in history weren't the ones who said yes to everything. They were the ones who said no to most things so they could say yes to the right things in a big way. Machiavelli once said, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command." You cannot command others if you cannot command your own time, energy, and resources. You cannot lead others if you cannot lead yourself. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I protect my resources. I'm not telling you to become heartless. I'm not saying mercy, honesty, and generosity should be thrown away. What I'm saying is this: these virtues must be used like weapons precisely at the right time for maximum effect. A sword sitting on a shelf doesn't protect anyone, but a sword in the hands of a skilled warrior at the right moment can save a kingdom. Your goodness should work the same way. When you help someone, it should be intentional. When you show mercy, it should be strategic. When you're generous, it should create the outcome you want. Let me give you an example. Instead of helping everyone a little bit, help the right people a lot. Instead of being nice to everyone, be exceptionally kind to those who matter. Instead of saying yes to everything, say yes powerfully to the things that align with your goals. This approach does three things. First, your help becomes more valuable because it's scarce. Second, you actually create bigger positive impacts because you're focused. Third, people respect you more because you're selective. Think about the most respected leaders in history. Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't gentle with injustice, he confronted it powerfully. Mother Teresa didn't help everyone in the world, she focused intensely on the poorest of the poor. They were all good people, but they were strategically good. They used their virtue as a tool to create change, not as a way to be liked by everyone. How do you do this in real life? Before you say yes to any request, ask yourself three questions. Does this align with my values and goals? Can I do this without depleting myself? Will this person appreciate and respect what I'm doing? If the answer to any of these is no, you don't just say no, you say no kindly but firmly. When you do say yes, you do it fully. You give your best effort. You create real value. You make a meaningful difference. This way, your yeses matter. Your help is remembered. Your generosity creates loyalty instead of entitlement. Machiavelli once said, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." What he meant is this: sometimes keeping your word to one person means breaking your word to another. Sometimes being good to your family means being firm with your co-workers. Sometimes protecting your dreams means disappointing people who want to use your time. Strategic virtue isn't about being selfish. It's about being effective. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose effective kindness. Here's something that will change how you see human nature forever. Gratitude is temporary. I know this might hurt to hear, but it's true. The favors you do for people, the help you provide, the sacrifices you make, they have an expiration date in people's memories. Repeated favors stop feeling like gifts and turn into obligations. What starts as "thank you so much" becomes "you should do this," becomes "why didn't you do this?" You help your neighbor move. They're incredibly grateful. You help them move again 6 months later, still thankful, but less excited. You help them a third time. Now they just expect it. The fourth time they need to move, they don't even ask. They just assume you'll help. And if you can't, suddenly you're the bad guy. This is human psychology. We adapt to good treatment. We take it for granted. We start seeing exceptional kindness as normal treatment. In the end, people remember the advantage they got from you, not the kindness you showed them. This pattern repeats everywhere, in relationships, workplaces, friendships, and families. The person who always says yes becomes the person everyone expects to say yes. The reliable helper becomes the automatic choice for every problem. And when that person finally sets a boundary or says no, they're treated as if they've betrayed everyone's trust. The more consistently kind you are, the less your kindness is valued. The more available you make yourself, the less special your availability becomes. The more you give without asking for anything in return, the more people assume your giving comes without cost to you. This is the illusion of gratitude. We think that doing more good things will make people more grateful, but actually it makes them less grateful because they expect more good things. The people who appreciate you most are often the people you help least frequently. The people who take you for granted are usually the people you help most often. This doesn't mean people are evil. It means people are human. And humans naturally adjust their expectations based on their experiences. Understanding this psychological reality doesn't mean you should stop being kind or helpful. It means you should be strategic about it. Set boundaries. Make your help conditional sometimes. Let people experience what it's like when you're not there to solve their problems. Machiavelli once said, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel." People see what you're doing now more clearly than they remember what you did before. Your past kindness becomes invisible. Your current actions are what they judge you by. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I create lasting impact. The world judges outcomes, not motives. You might have the purest heart in the world. Your intentions might be golden, but if your actions don't create the results you want, none of that matters. History doesn't remember people who meant well. It remembers people who got things done. Let me ask you something. Would you rather be remembered as someone who was really nice but didn't accomplish much, or someone who might have seemed tough but actually made the world better? Most people choose the first option because it feels safer. But here's what they don't realize. Being remembered as just nice means being forgotten entirely. You see, there's a brutal but undeniable truth. Sometimes being truly good means doing things that don't look good in the moment. Surface-level kindness often creates temporary comfort, while tough decisions create lasting impact. A parent who disciplines their child isn't being mean, they're being good by teaching the child important lessons. A teacher who gives tough grades isn't being cruel, they're preparing students for the real world. A boss who sets high standards isn't being unreasonable, they're helping their team grow stronger. Real goodness is about results, not appearances. It's about creating positive outcomes, not just positive feelings. This is where most good people go wrong. They focus on being liked instead of being effective. They choose comfort over growth. They pick temporary peace over lasting positive change. But here's the truth. If you're not getting the results you want from your goodness, you're not being good enough. You're being nice, which is different. Nice people avoid conflict. Good people resolve conflict. Nice people tell people what they want to hear. Good people tell people what they need to hear. Nice people maintain the status quo. Good people create positive change. The world is full of nice people who accomplish nothing. What the world needs more of is good people who get results. Machiavelli once said, "The end justifies the means." Now, this doesn't mean you should do evil things to achieve good outcomes. What it really means is that your good intentions don't matter if they don't create good results. People don't live inside your heart. They live with the consequences of your actions. So remember this, real goodness requires courage. It requires you to prioritize outcomes over appearances. It requires you to stop asking, will they like me? And start asking, will this actually make things better? At the end of the day, people won't remember your intentions. They'll remember what you built, what you changed, and what you left behind. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I focus on outcomes. Let's talk about what really matters, how you'll be remembered, and what you'll leave behind. History doesn't honor the merely good. It honors those who survived, endured, and turned their outcomes into greatness. Think about this for a moment. Can you name 5 nice people from history? Probably not. But you can probably name 5 people who created lasting change, even if they weren't always pleasant to deal with. Steve Jobs wasn't known for being nice. He was demanding, perfectionist, and often difficult. But he created products that changed how billions of people live. I'm not saying you should be mean to people. What I'm saying is that being remembered for making a difference is better than being forgotten for being agreeable. Here's what most people don't understand about legacy. You can't leave a positive mark on the world if you don't survive long enough to make one. And survival in business, in relationships, in life requires more than just being good. It requires being smart, strategic, and sometimes tough. The kindest people in the world can't help anyone if they get crushed by those who take advantage of them. The most generous people can't give anything if they give everything away too early. The most honest people can't speak truth if they get silenced by those who prefer lies. You have to survive first. Then you can thrive. Then you can create the legacy you want. This means protecting yourself so you can protect others. It means building power so you can use it for good. It means being selective with your kindness so your kindness actually matters. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. He wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But here's what people miss about that quote. He's not saying be cruel. He's saying don't sacrifice your survival for the sake of being liked. Your legacy depends on your ability to endure. And your ability to endure depends on your willingness to be strategically good, not blindly good. So ask yourself, what do you want to be remembered for? Do you want to be remembered as the person who was always nice but never made a difference? Or do you want to be remembered as the person who was strategically kind and created real, lasting change? The choice is yours, but choose wisely because your legacy is being written right now with every decision you make. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I build a lasting legacy. So here we are. You've learned the 8 brutal truths about goodness that Machiavelli understood centuries ago. You've learned that goodness without strategy is exposure. Generosity without boundaries breeds entitlement. Virtue without timing loses its power. Kindness without selectivity drains your strength. Helping without reciprocity creates resentment. Good intentions without results mean nothing. And legacy without survival is impossible. But most importantly, you've learned this. You don't have to choose between being good and being powerful. You just have to be strategically good. From this moment forward, your goodness will no longer be your weakness. It will be your weapon. You'll help people but intentionally. You'll be kind but selectively. You'll give but strategically. You'll build relationships but with boundaries. And you'll create a legacy that actually matters, not because you were the nicest person in the room, but because you were the most effective. Remember, the world doesn't need more nice people who accomplish nothing. The world needs more strategically good people who create real change. So I'm going to ask you one final time. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose strategic goodness. And if this video opened your eyes to a truth you've never seen before, subscribe to this channel, because we're just getting started. Your transformation begins now.